Tinubu summons Interior Minister Tunji over 438.1 million naira consultation contract. This is the heads are rolling gradually. Tunji had initially come out to say that he is not a signatory to the company account. I think in one publication he also said he had resigned, but his record has shown that he is still a director and the owner of the company. Okay, so let's see now that hand is touching him gradually in the whole saga of humanitarian ministry fraud. Now Tinubu has invited Tunji. Let's see how this will pan out. Let's get into the details. President Bola Tinubu has summoned Interior Minister Olubunmi Tunji to the presidential villa over a 438.1 million naira contract linked to the Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation. This summons came amidst a brewing controversy encircling the minister and his suspended counterpart Beta Edu. Edu, who was suspended on Monday and is facing interrogation at the EFCC right now, had awarded several contracts to companies including New Planet Projects Limited, owned by Tunji. So Tunji denied any involvement during the contract award on Monday while speaking on Channels TV's Politics Today. The president had directed the EFCC to investigate all financial dealings awarded by Edu. So Edu's ordeal began when he directed that 585 million naira should be paid into a private account owned by an individual linked to the ministry's project. However, while operating on channels, appearing on channels, Tunji claimed he had resigned from the directorship of New Planet Projects Limited in 2019. Okay, so he emphasized his non-involvement in the day-to-day operations and stressed compliance with public service regulations. So while asserting his status as a shareholder, Tunji urged investigative agencies to thoroughly examine the contract processes and ensure adherence to due diligence. So the company, New Planet Project Limited, was one of the numerous consultants awarded contracts from the 3 billion naira given out by the suspended minister for the National Social Register contract, he had said. So he added that, I have to say this, I saw it and I was shocked because the company in question was a company where I was the director. Now, about 5 years ago, I had resigned my directorship. Yes, I founded the company 10 years ago in 2019. And when I got to the House of Representatives, when I won the elections precisely, I resigned. I resigned 4th of February 2019 with a certified true copy of Corporate Affairs Commission as far back as 2019 to prove this. So Tunji, who said he came into public office knowing full well that Nigerians would ask questions, charged relevant agencies to prove the contract processes. I do not run the company. I don't have any knowledge of the contract. I am not a signatory to any account. I am not a director of the company. Okay. So the company is a limited liability company, which is a private entity. So if the company is a private entity, of course, I am still a shareholder. Okay. Still a shareholder. And to the best of my knowledge, public service rule does not prohibit public officers from being shareholders. Okay. So what public service rule says is that you cannot be a director, of which I have resigned about 5 years ago. So I have no business with it, absolutely no business. Okay, because I am not involved in the day-to-day running of the company. I do not pursue jobs for the company. I do not bid for the company. I am not a signatory to the company's account. I am not involved. So the company is an entity on its own. So if then the question should be Was the job given to the company? If the answer is yes, okay. So then the question is, did they follow due process? If it is a yes. Did the company deliver on the job? It is a yes. If it is a yes. Okay, so all these are questions. If it is a yes, then the next question. If it is a yes, then the next question. So then number 3 is that they did deliver in line with the agreement of the contract. If it is a no, then they should be sanctioned by the book. So Tijojo has answered his own, even though he has been summoned. I think he might have a soft landing if he has actually resigned and declared it and has a document from Corporate Affairs Commission to show. Then that would be a very great one for him. That would be his, that would be what will save his head. And that is the truth. Because I would have been surprised if somebody of this caliber is occupying a public office and does not understand the requirement and the regulations of public service and public service office holders. Okay, because it would have been bad if he's still a director and he did not declare it. But for him to say that he resigned from the company since 2019 and had notified the Corporate Affairs Commission and has given him a certified true copy, removing him as director from the company, but though he's still a shareholder, then that he might have a soft landing in that regard. But again, well, you can be a shareholder as long as you are not a director, you are not a manager, you are not in any way involved in the running of the business, they're just a shareholder, then that's fine. But again, it's a public liability of company. How much share do you have? If you have such amount of share that gives you power to determine what happens to the company, then that's also another gray area to look at. Because if for instance, the company has 1 million shares, and out of the 1 million shares, you own 700 out of the 1 million, 700,000 out of the 1 million, then then you are as good as the director, because the directors will not say anything without you. That is it. So that also will need to be looked into. Okay, the document will say director, but if you have 700 out of 1,000 shares, then you are almost as good as the director. But let's not go there yet. Now that Tinubu has invited him to Aso Rock, let's see. By the time he comes back, we'll see exactly how they want to handle it. The company obviously is not going to be exonerated, but Tinubu as a separate entity might be exonerated the way it is looking. Okay, but again, there's no way, looking the way he was shaking hands with Beta Edu, there's no way he can prove that he did not influence the award of that contract to that company. Because looking at the relationship between himself and the minister Beta Edu that is now being dragged, you know that a lot of water must have passed under the bridge. That is it. All right, and I know that this invitation, some people will definitely be asking some question. Somebody is already saying, well, see, I thought the Minister of Interior, Honorable Lubimi Tunjojo, is highly regarded and will support his continued service. Fake bloggers should not be allowed to undermine his contribution. This is not about fake blogging now. It's a true information that has come out from Aso Rock. The truth is, because he has been dragged into the net, the federal government has invited him to hear his side of the story. So this is not a case of bloggers, it is a true story. Let's remove sentiment from this. As I say, hey God, please help Tunjojo to get out of this. Sentiment and emotion is creeping in now. It's about information on ground. It's about policies. It's about conflict of interest, and the investigators will get the facts. Some say, what is consultancy fee? Why is it expensive in Nigeria? That is the question. 438.1 million for consultation. Now wow. Some say wahala everywhere or more. I love this. PBAT is not giving anyone breathing space. Well, it's a case of pot calling kettle black. That doesn't mean that Tinubu himself is 100% clean. But again, let's start from somewhere. Some say nothing must happen to Minister Ojo. For where if something happen to her, what you will come do? When they chop it, they give you. Don't tell us you have hand in all of this. You'll be invited. Someone say na susu abracadabra. The more you see, the less you understand. Someone say whatever you guys discuss, March 8 must not fail. What is March 8? What is happening there? Okay. He should go and explain the consultation services he rendered for such amount. Thieves everywhere. I think the thing here is that he already has a record to show that he's no longer director of that company, but he needs to explain his relationship with Beta Edu. Because if Beta Edu, there's a way they will drag Beta Edu, she will confess very well. She has more to say. So that is what is happening. Tinubu is already invited by the president to come and explain himself. Let's see what comes out of that explanation. Thank you for listening, and let's have your comments.